Hey guys, it is Dani and welcome to this updated video on the tropics. And so in this video we're going to be talking about our three disturbances that we have across the Atlantic basin that we definitely have to pay close attention to. And over in the Eastern Pacific we have a disturbance as well as a newly formed depression expected to become a tropical cyclone and eventually a hurricane. And in the Central Pacific basin there is a disturbance that we will make mention of. And so before I go into details, okay, so let's kickstart things with what is going on across the basins going eastward. So first up, the Central Pacific Basin. And so here we have a disturbance given a 30% chance to develop through both 48 hours and 5 days. And so the chance is low at this time, but as time goes by, it might slowly develop into a tropical cyclone, and it is well to the southwest of Honolulu in Hawaii, so not expected to be much of a threat to land during the next couple of days. And so let's go to the Eastern Pacific Basin now. And so here we have it, and here we have a tropical depression 11E, expected to eventually become a tropical storm, maybe in the next advisory. And when it does, it will carry the name Kevin, which is the next name to be used for that basin. And then a bit to the southeast of it is an area of disturbed weather. So as of right now, there is a 70% chance of potential development in that region. So it is certainly possible that we could have a tropical cyclone forming there, but we're not seeing that X to show the location of that low pressure area. But once it has developed, we will see it being identified by that X. And so let's move on to our tropical depression 11E in detail. So as you're seeing here, it has sustained winds of 35 miles per hour, and it is accelerating westward at 9 miles per hour. So not a very fast moving system, and fortunately it is well off the coast of Mexico. And so we're expecting that it is going to be maintaining tropical cyclone status throughout the entire week that is ahead of us. And so we're expecting that it is going to be achieving hurricane status maybe by sometime very late on Sunday going into Monday, but it is not expected to become a major hurricane. So fortunately guys, it is not going to be a threat to land, so that is the fortunate news with our brewing tropical cyclone. And so now over to the Atlantic basin. So here we have quite a bit going on, three disturbances, and there are constant changes with these systems. And so let us look at them individually, going from Invest 92L first. So that is our disturbance in the vicinity of the Cabo Verde Islands. So let's take a look at it close up. So there we're seeing it, and it is given a 30% chance to develop all the way down, and the maximum chance it had was 70%. So now we have a drastic decrease in the formation chance over time, and that is because development of the system is not seeming very likely, mainly because of that Saharan dust. So we'll talk about those factors that influence our systems later down in this video. So we have a 30% chance for this to develop, and it is seeming likely that we will not have any source of development coming from 92L, as it is going to be making its way to the west and eventually a bit to the west northwest. And so let's go on to our other disturbance, which has been there for quite a while. So this disturbance is given a low 10% chance for potential development during the next 5 days. And so as of right now, it's seeming as though this thing here is one to watch, even though the chance is so low. Why I would say it is one to watch is because it is going to be moving somewhat to the west northwest, and if it is going to be moving across the Caribbean headed to the Gulf of Mexico, that is where we could see some trouble. Because when we have these systems, especially at this time of year when conditions get increasingly favorable for us to have development, when they move into the Gulf, that is when we have rapid intensification taking place of tropical cyclones. So we have to pay attention to this. And so regardless of it becoming a tropical cyclone or not, once it is still in one piece and it manages to combat the dust and probably a bit of unfavorable wind shear out there, then it is going to be bringing some inclement weather to sections of the Eastern Caribbean. But it is kind of stationary right now. It's not really moving since the last few days, so we will see what is the eventual outcome with the system. And our models are showing something quite interesting, so we're going to be looking at two of them later down in this video. So let's go on to our third disturbance. So this is our most recent disturbance, and actually guys, this is given a 40% chance now to develop. So the chance is on the rise for the system here. And so once we're going to be having conditions being more and more favorable, we will have the chance continuously increasing for development to take place of the system, and it is definitely one to watch. And if you're in the Eastern Caribbean, you really want to keep an eye on things out there, because guess what? We're heading into the peak of the season, which means trouble. And so now let us go ahead and take a look at conditions that are currently persistent across the basin. So first up, the ocean temperature map. So we see that ocean temperatures in the Gulf are highly favorable, in the Caribbean as well as in the vicinity of the Bahamas, and out in the Atlantic it is marginally conducive to support our systems to develop, especially just off Africa. Right there isn't the best right now, so we will most likely just have these waves moving westward, and once the shear is conducive as well as little dry air, that is where we could have a good window of opportunity for our systems to develop. So now let's move on to the wind shear. And so greens mean favorable, the yellow being neutral, and the red being unfavorable. So when you see a lot of those reds, that is when we have our tropical cyclones having a struggle to stay together, because that is strong wind shear that usually rip up our systems and so prevents them from intensifying. So we're seeing that, so we have some favorable shear extending across portions of the Gulf, the North Caribbean, in the vicinity of the Bahamas, and even in sections of the main development region, sort of in the vicinity of the two waves that are located to the southeast of the Leeward Islands. So now let's finally move on to the Saharan dust. And so the different colors here show how dense it is in the atmosphere. And so we have the yellow, meaning that there isn't a whole lot of dust, won't be too impactful on our systems. The oranges go into that red and that pink shade, means that there is a lot of dust. It is very dense and almost impossible for us to have any sorts of development in those regions, because dry air is what inhibits moisture, and tropical cyclones need moisture in order to develop, so that will be resulting in them not developing, guys. And so now let us go on to what Toro models are expecting in terms of our systems out in the Atlantic. So first up is the GFS model. So GFS is expecting that it is going to be our second disturbance here, as you're seeing, that is going to be the one developing. And so let us take a look at it further out. And so just in case you're not aware, this is a map showing the isobars, which are lines of equal pressure, and the closer you see them in a circular manner with the pressure below 1030 millibars, that is a low pressure system, which could be a tropical cyclone. And so that is what we're looking for here. So let's go to Saturday the 14th of the month, and so there we have a 994 millibar low pressure system in the vicinity of Hispaniola. So this is most likely a tropical storm at this point, and it is moving a bit north of the Caribbean, which is quite interesting to see. And so as we head on to Tuesday the 17th, the GFS has a system moving up and curving, and it is a 980 millibar low pressure system at that point. But as we head to Saturday the 21st of August, there we have the system more than likely becoming extratropical up there and in the vicinity of the northwestern portion of the Caribbean. Take a look at that 1007 millibar low pressure system. Let's go out to Sunday the 22nd, and so GFS is showing that the pressure has dropped a little, which means that there is an increase in intensity, and the system is now over the Bay of Campeche. But as we head towards Monday, there we see the isobars coming more together, being tightly packed, which means that there is definite strength in there, and the pressure has decreased to 997 millibars. And finally, GFS is showing a 984 millibar low pressure system making landfall along the Gulf Coast of Mexico. And so this would be very, very interesting to see. But I mean, we're heading into the peak of the season, so we can expect to have quite a bit of activity as we're going to be headed into the latter part of the month, going into next month, potentially into October as well. And so now let's take a look at what icon is showing. So this is Monday the 9th of the month, and so there is icon showing the three systems. There we have that 1030 millibar low, that is our disturbance that is located closer to the Lesser Antilles. We have that middle one being our newly identified disturbance, and the one more to the right being 92L. So let's go further out. And so icon is showing that by the 11th of the month on Wednesday, the system is going to be just over the Dominican Republic right there, showing something a bit similar to GFS. The only difference is that it is showing it for the first disturbance and not the second one. And so as we head to Sunday the 15th of the month, there we have a 988 millibar low. So this track right here is reminding me of what happened with Dorian. Even though Dorian didn't move as south as what the model is showing here and was much stronger, this is sort of bringing back what happened with the cyclone. The icon here is having this system making its way over portions of the northwestern portion of the Bahamas, guys. And so this is actually something that is very interesting. As I said, we have to pay attention to these systems, but the system with the most potential to become a tropical cyclone as of right now is the second one, as marked by the National Hurricane Center. It has the highest chance at 40%. And so once conditions are going to be more and more conducive to support the systems, we will have a rise in the formation chance. And so guys, we really just have to pay attention to what is going on out there. And so that is it for this video. And if you found it to be quite informative, please give a thumbs up, and you can also share your thoughts in the comments or ask a question. I will try to respond as best and as soon as I can. And just remember to always be weatherwise.